Y'all, I just figured out how we become our parents. What's good, y'all? I'm LoneeAppleton. I am a healthy family advocate. If that is your content of choice, please consider following, commenting, sharing, and reposting videos with your community so we can grow. Alright, y'all. I'm watching my last video, and I'm talking about how when we're kids, we promise ourselves we're not going to become our parents because our parents were terrible. And the way that they treated us was just despicable. And we would never do that to our children. We actually probably said that after we said, I wish you get hit by a bus. What would we do if our primary caregiver, because a lot of us come from single parent homes, that puts a woman in a position to be mom and dad, good guy and bad guy simultaneously. No wonder she's so confused and stressed out. No wonder we love her and hate her. No wonder the most hated person on this earth is a black woman. But here's how we become our parents. Our parents didn't know how to parent. And so, because there's no guidebook on how to do this, instead of trying to figure it out for themselves, because we've all been told to turn our brains off, right? So instead of trying to figure out how to parent for themselves, they just defaulted to what they knew. They just did a better version of it. So that's why we're satisfied in the abuse of our children. One, the bully perspective, inflicting trauma from generation to generation on an innocent because we were an innocent. But now we're looking at it from the perspective of good job. Got it nice and clean. Good job, Bubba.
Can you open it because...
So, they just defaulted to their version of what was done to them. And they're justified in it because it's not as bad, but it's deserving. Like, you do something wrong, you deserve some sort of consequence for it. And I mean, I'm not beating you with a horse whip. I'm beating you with a switch from the tree. That's better. I'm not beating you with a switch. I'm beating you with a belt. I'm not beating you with a belt. I'm beating you with a spoon. I'm not beating you with a spoon. It's still beating. So that's how we become our parents, because when it's our turn up to bat, not our turn up. But when it's our turn to become a parent, we're like, well, what do I know? Not much. But what has been demonstrated for me my entire life, I can make my own version of that. And then we turn into our parents. And then once our parents become grandparents, they're able to see all of a sudden, because they're no longer responsible for human life. Because we got to think fast on our feet. The baby's here. How do you raise it? Let me call my mom, and my mom's going to tell me her version, and I'm going to do my version of my mom's version, but I'm going to replicate the same version that has been passed from generations. And that's how this trauma is being passed from generations. And this is why we can't ever get too far away from the master's whip, because we're inflicting it on ourselves. Just our version. Yeah, think about that when you arguing to try to stay the same. This is how it's always been done. Yo, on the group think aspect of it too, if we do choose to deviate from the way that they have raised children in our family, he's rapping in the background. Sorry, we're just gonna have to deal with that because I gotta get this off. Good night, love you. What's good, John? LoneeAppleton. I'm a healthy family. What? I said it.
I just said good night, love you.
I said good night, love you too.
It says mom.
What's good, John? LoneeAppleton. I'm a healthy family advocate. If that is your content of choice, please consider following, commenting, sharing, reposting videos on your page so we can grow. We were talking about different ways why we become our parents. And so we talked from the bully perspective. I don't remember, but I said in the past video, we become our parents because we default to it, because this rubber hit road. When that baby get here, we have all these plans of how we're going to be a different parent than our parent. But when it comes to practical application, like right now, we had a family meeting today, and Dre's like, all this stuff isn't working. And I was like, it's not. So what else do we try? Like, you saying it's not working, okay? And when we say it's not working, it's working for some, it's not working for all. So now we have to find another formula for the outliers. And not to say they're outliers, but they're outliers. And I don't mean that in a negative perspective, but we gotta somehow bring them in too. Boom, you see how I saved that? We gotta somehow bring them into the fold. So if we gotta figure out something else, we can't just say it's not working. It's not. And yes, we've tried everything we could think of. Let's keep thinking, because there has to be a way. And maybe in trying to find the way, we're finding the way. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know what's happening behind the surface. So why get upset? Why get upset at a person for being the way they are? Especially if they're a child. We were gifted that child to figure out, and we have the tools. Us collectively, us individually, because we all need to develop relationships collectively and individually. So the last way that we end up becoming our parents are bully group thing. Your family will literally bully you into submission. Raise your kid the way that we want you to raise your kid, or else. Family has literally cut other family members off because they have chosen to raise their children differently than how children have been raised for generations, not even knowing that they're replicating how Massa raised us. Oh, just gonna swing back around to slavery at least once every quarter of a week. But I wonder if we knew the Sunday dinners that we covet so much, the dozens, where we get on somebody's head and talk about their mama, where we all standing around shooting dice, talking I wonder if we knew the rap music we listen to, the R&B music, the women just begging the man to pay your attention, men talking about all you're good for is a skin and ducket. Nah, let old boy wine and dine you. I was listening to Richie Rich, Double R Richie, baby, and Tupac earlier today. Yeah, I just want to be an N-I-G-G-A, and those are the anthems. And we think those ain't doing nothing to us psychologically. This music, these diets, these mentalities, just constantly fighting each other to prove a point that's pointless. All of these are forms of modern day lynching that are being used within our community that we are using against each other. Us accepting black on black crime because we must somehow get white people to comply before we even address our compliance to our own standards. We don't even adhere to our own standards. But we're out here demanding that white America complies to our standards. And they looking at us, they're like, oh, the hypocrisy. And that's why you're like, when they're like, how can black lives matter if you kill each other? That's the way they're looking back at us. They're like, how dare you yell at us for killing one of you when you kill thousands and you don't say nothing? And we're yelling that one life mattered, and it did, but so did all those other thousands of lives. And I know all the arguments, but again, can you see another perspective? Can you see their perspective? How it's so hard to comprehend how just the math ain't mathin'. And if we could get out of our feelings, it's not. It's in that we realize the psychological mind that we have been pitted against each other for years. Racism isn't even real. We are caught in a cycle of trying to prove each other's point because we refuse to see the other person's side. But we're both right. And we've all done wrong. But can we move forward? Can we stop playing the blame game and move forward? And see that all the tools that they've used against us that we adore so well are just modern day lynching. Gotcha! Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Can you finish that? They even had us playing games, childhood games, to the songs that spoke of our demise. The mental, it runs deep. And that's the mental space that we are bullying our family members into replicating into the next generation. Especially our weak-ass minded men, and I'm not trying to come for y'all's head, but y'all's mama and y'all's daddy, if he's present, have really left y'all out there to be raised by the streets, and the streets is dumb as fuck. So y'all modeling yourselves after some empty vessels. So I can't be upset with what the outcome is. I'm actually proud of those of you who have been able to pull yourselves up through all of it, because y'all's mama, who thought she was spoiling you by doing everything for you, she pretty much just spoiled you. You're rotten. Nobody wants another child to have to take care of. No one wants to be bullied into submission in order to be in love with you. Someone will comply because they're that thirsty, but nobody wants it. So everything that we adore and hold so dearly as a Black community is so detrimental to us, and it has been, as I said in the video earlier, we do it to ourselves. We are so busy focusing on what the white people do to us, what this one white person did to us, while we overlook what these thousands and thousands of Black people do to each other a day. And I know when I've said that in the past, people are like, it's not about that, it's about equality, it's about justice, it's about, it is, boom, have yours. You can have your truth, but can I have mine? And can you see that my perspective is valid as well? And my perspective will do something within our community. You continue to fight your fight outside of the community, but can we give it equal, if not more, energy towards fighting within the community? Because our numbers are dwindling more within the community than they are without. So when I say, when we are literally outcasting family members because they do not choose to live their lives as we have lived it, they see the light, we bully them back into the darkness, or we thrust them out and estrange from them. And that's how you become your parents.